have an update from GeoVax Labs, Inc., which trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol GOVX. It's a clinical stage biotech company developing novel therapies and vaccines for solid tumor cancers and many of the world's most threatening infectious diseases. Happy to welcome back Chairman, President, and CEO David Dodd. Welcome back, David.
Thank you, Anna. It's always a pleasure to be part of emerging growth companies.
Well, last month you experienced a tremendous amount of investor interest and support resulting from the current Mpox outbreak. So we look forward to your comments and give us your update.
All right, let's jump right into it. So we're going to talk about Mpox, which was formerly known as monkeypox, and why it's been declared a global health threat by the WHO. This occurred just last month. On August the 14th, the WHO declared it an emergency, a public health emergency of international concern. That's a long phrase to say it's a big deal, but that's because it's become so widespread. It is such a concerning threat from an infectious disease standpoint, and we'll touch on some of the elements of it. So what is the big deal? Well, the declaration was August the 14th. You may recall that 2 years ago we had an Mpox. It was then called monkeypox outbreak. The current one is more virulent and higher mortality. And this is a very important distinction. It's a different strain, and we'll talk about what that means. The current strain is spread by close contact, whereas the previous one was largely driven by sexual contact, men having sex with men. But the current one also is casual contact transmission. It's a vaccination is what is necessary. It's critical to reduce morbidity and mortality. And the key area being hit was initially was parts of Africa, but it's already been picked up throughout Europe, and we've had an announcement of a potential case in North America already. But Africa is in extreme need, and we need throughout the world are greater elements of medical care, such as vaccines especially. The symptoms are horrible. But I decided a picture, is worth 1,000 words, and you see it leaves scarring. It's not like COVID where you don't see it, but people can sort of feel it and they feel horrible and they're at risk and all. This is one that leaves lifelong scars, and in some cases it actually leads to mortality. So this is not a friendly it is a highly unattractive, scarring and debilitating type of infectious disease. So let's talk about where it's been hit. 96%, so almost all of it was concentrated in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC. Now it's over 20,000 have been infected. What is unique about this outbreak is that 70% are in children, and there have been over 500 deaths. Now, why in children? That's because children have not received the previous vaccine against smallpox, as many of us did as young children. And so today they're not routinely vaccinating children or throughout the world for against smallpox. Why am I talking smallpox? Because the same vaccine that prevents smallpox is the vaccine that is utilized to prevent Mpox. They're part of the same family, or pox viruses. Why is it so critically important? Africa alone needs a minimum of 20 million doses. There's, as you'll see in a minute, a single supplier worldwide. There's a monopoly that supplies the recommended vaccine from both WHO and the CDC. And running all out, they might be able to produce around 5 million or so doses by the end of 2025. So we're dealing in a situation, a single source supplier, by and large, of the recommended one. Are there additional Mpox vaccine suppliers? We'll talk about that. But just to care for the people that are being hit, Africa alone needs over $4 billion. Now, how does this strain different than what we saw two years ago? Well, 2 years ago, it was endemic to West Africa. It was less infectious and it was less deadly. It had a mortality rate of about 1%. What we're seeing now is endemic to Central Africa. Most common strain is in the DRC. There are over 400 new cases per week, with most of them being in children. It's much more virulent. It's more deadly, about 10 times the mortality, and it's migrating worldwide, as I mentioned earlier. So what do we do? What are the available vaccines? Well, the primary vaccine, in fact, the only vaccine that is recommended by WHO and the CDC, is known as MVA-BN. The BN represents the name of the company that provides that, and that's Bavarian Nordic out of Denmark. But the historical vaccine for treating smallpox and hence also mpox is called ACAM 2000. That's from Emergent Biosolutions, which is based in the U.S. Now, you may hear somewhat in the news about ACAM 2000, but it's the historical older version. It's not the preferred vaccine, and the reason why is it is contraindicated and not utilized among pregnant women, children, and individuals with compromised immune systems. Now, I just said children, so if 70+% of the cases in Africa are children, we can't really use ACAM 2000. So it's used only as a last resort and last measure. It's a live virus and it replicates in humans, which means that it isn't necessarily that safe in humans. MVA, which is the vaccine that enabled the world to rid the world of smallpox, which was announced in 1977, it was designed as a expanded version, an improved version of what the ACAM 2000, known as Vaccinia, is all about. It was designed for smallpox, but it's also effective for mpox. Again, it's the recommended vaccine from WHO and the CDC. It's a weakened live virus, but most important, it does not replicate in humans. It is exquisitely safe for all populations, meaning pregnant women, children, and those with compromised immune systems. Has minimal side effects. It's usually localized from the vaccination. So what's the solution? Well, WHO is coordinating the entire program worldwide. They're seeking additional mpox vaccine supply candidates, especially those that are experienced with the same technology that the MVA-BN is all about. And in fact, you'll see that GeoVax, our company, is one of the world leaders in dealing with MVA. So the leading backup candidate to the current single product that's available worldwide is the GEO-MVA. It's very important. To be able to produce more product, what is needed is a master seed virus produced under cGMP conditions, and then leading to an advanced manufacturing process that can give you higher yield and can give you a lower cost and also greater volume of production. Because right now, the one player worldwide is running it all out, and they're going to fall far short of what is needed in the world. So MVA, as we mentioned, the U.S. government stockpiles it because it's stockpiled against bioterrorism from smallpox. It's also the same product, as I mentioned, that is utilized against mpox and all. So right now, the closest to having an MVA vaccine that will augment what the MVA-BN is currently able to supply is GeoVax. We've already produced the cGMP master seed virus. That has been released to be able to move it into production. We're now working on what is called the master virus bank. That will be the basis for actually producing cGMP batches of product. That is underway right now. We're in dialogue with stakeholders such as the WHO and others, the Africa CDC, with elements of the U.S. government. So we're in discussions with all elements in terms of what we can do to accelerate our process of bringing product forward. We're talking to regulatory authorities, and we also have an advanced manufacturing process underway that will end up enabling much greater production and also more adaptable production, so that, for instance, in the continent of Africa, we can do full manufacturing from drug substance all the way through the distribution of actual product. And we're hoping to partner with elements within Africa in that regard. What does this all mean in terms of how big an issue is this? What is it as a business? Investors keep asking me, what could it potentially be worth? Is there any value in doing that? If you look at what is currently being dealt with, the strategic national stockpiles, as well as what is needed to address current as well as expanding outbreaks, we're talking about over $10 billion of value a year. That's a lot that can basically be distributed by two companies. Right now, there's one company worldwide going after that as the primary product. We hope to be the first U.S.-based supplier and be able to take a chunk of that as we move forward. So we have all of our elements underway, trying to accelerate it as best we can so that we can move forward with product that can be supplied to people and that we can also begin to negotiate contracts with different entities on a global basis. So today, that's the update. Monkeypox is not a minor issue. It's not an issue only in Africa. It is here. It is expanding worldwide, and it is going to continue to evolve just as we've seen with COVID-19. We're going to see continued strains of mpox, and we need to be better prepared than we currently are. So, Anna, I'll turn it back to you at this time.
Well, great job, David. You pretty much answered all of our questions. It's a wonderful update. So we thank you so much for joining us on the conference with this. And yeah, just keep coming back with these great updates.
All right. Thank you. Everyone have a great day. We look forward to your support.
All right. We'll see you again soon, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. We'll be